Boom! Welcome back to the Sebs Show, everybody. It's your boy Sebs. This is UFC 229, Khabib versus Mcgregor, the biggest fight of our fucking lives. Let's get this going, ladies and gentlemen. This is a great fight card, top to bottom as usual, but this one's just very special. You'd pay the $75 by itself just for the main event here. I think that's worth it itself. And then you got Pettis and Ferguson. You got Volkov, Lewis.
That's a good fight.
Dominick, Reyes over to St. Preux. Even Felice, Herrig, and Waterson for that main card. That's a good main card. And then you got guys like Sergio, Pettis, and Jussier, Formiga, a top 5 and top 2 flyweight fighting for probably the next flyweight championship shot there. Got some good fights on our hands, but we're starting off with Tony Martin versus Ryan LaFleur. And I didn't spend too much time on these guys, man. Tony Martin, not the best striker, pretty good grappler, moving up from 155 to 170. And Ryan LaFleur has always been a good grappler, dominant grappler, pretty big for his size as well. Just that knockout from Alex Cowboy Oliveira was kind of give me a hesitation sometimes. He didn't like if he wasn't coming back the same, but he did come back the same against Alex Garcia. Got a 30-27 there. So I'm going with Ryan LaFleur here to get the win.
Yeah, I think Tony Martin's got a weird poppy jab. He can rock the low hand down if he's lazy enough. He's got a lot of basic footwork. He can bring a lot of fights to stalemates in the rounds and really kind of be chill and kind of be slow. Landed a few single overhands against Nakamura. So when he gets those working, he starts to put his 1-1-2s together. Very basic in terms of combos. Put Nakamura in a submission armbar threat before the third round ended. I like that. Ryan LaFleur, on the other hand, southpaw, good single strikes and some fast sprawls. He likes to go for that high knee every now and then and clinching and muscling opponents to the fence, keeping the pressure on them. A lot of fighters actually have this style out tonight, on this card tonight. Punches inside. He throws a lot of punches, inside leg kicks, kicks with a bit of a balance issues, kind of kicks from angles, maintains pretty good kicking. Again, he's one of those wrestlers who kicks, but he likes to block as well. I kind of think Tony Martin's going to get this. I think his 1-1-2 style is pretty good. So I think he takes out Ryan LaFleur.
All right. Next up, we have. Oh, I just skipped the whole part here. Next up, we have Maynard take on Nick Lentz, and other fight I'm really not super interested in, but hey, Nick Lentz, both these guys are veterans of the game, both great wrestlers. Hard to pick. I'll go with Nick Lentz to get a submission here at guillotine.
Man, I like Gray Maynard in this one, man. I mean, he's a little stagnant at times, and he's got a big stamina issue kind of in the second round. He always looks super tired after the first, but I mean, he puts a relentless pace on you. Smashed up Ishihara. If he runs at you and starts throwing those punches, with his experience, he kind of just knows where you're going to be and where you're going to tilt to as people are coming off of shots that he hits you with. Whereas Nick Lentz, on the other hand, finds a lot of success with his leg kicks, likes to put pressure on people, go for the guillotine, really good at guillotines off of his back. But he's got a pretty basic 1-2 as well, switches stances a lot. I think him switching stances is going to keep him in one spot for a little too long, and Gray Maynard just needs that one shot. He still hits hard, and at least at 40, the guy's still a train chugging down the tracks. And, he puts a good pace on people, and if he hits you, man, he still can crack. So I got Gray Maynard in this fight. I hope he ends it early, too.
Yeah. Next up, Lansberg versus Yana Kunitskaya. I got the Russian. I think she does some damage here. Yeah, I think she does some damage. Better grappler, and she's a good striker as well. She has a very nice teep kick, good with the elbows. She's not the elbow queen like Lina Lansberg. She's good with her elbows. Very nice combinations. Good Muay Thai all around, and a good clinch work against the cage. I like Yana Kunitskaya here, I think, and she's also, I believe, the younger fighter by a wide margin as well, by a few years.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how old she is right now. I think she's like 28 or some shit. But Lina Lansberg's like 36, like going on, like past 35, going on 40 here. Like, I don't know. I don't even know if she's ranked number 12 in the bantamweight division. Very surprised about that.
Just sticking around, right?
Yeah, but I got Yana. Kunitskaya.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I actually like how she goes for heel hooks. Went for a bunch of heel, at least a few scary guillotines on Tonya Evinger, and it was a full-out grappling match from the first round on. She did go on to lose that fight, but I think she's lost to a lot of high-level competition. And when she does put on some good shows, I mean, hey, she's really hurting people with spinning kicks. She stalks forward really good, and she moves off of the angles nice. Lina Lansberg, the elbow queen, I mean, she's got some great body kicks on her. Real sweet. She was able to screw up Mizani a lot that fight. And, she was coughing in her corner just from the kicks. She fought Cyborg, obviously. Rough fight for her. I mean, rough fight for anybody, really. Pudilova gave her a bit of problems in the first round, landed a big high kick, and I think
Pudilova won that fight.
Huh?
Pudilova won that fight, I think.
Yeah, that was a weird one, man. So I got Yana just because of that as well. She likes the high kicks every now and then, and she can fit them in too.
All right.
So yeah, I got Yana in that one.
Yep. Next up, Alan Patrick. Nuget.
Scott.
Alan Nuget Patrick. Taking on Scott Hot Sauce Holtzman. And man, Alan Patrick's a fucking monster when it comes to grappling and whatnot. He just works with the Jacare. This guy is no joke. Fucking, I'm pretty sure he's a construction worker during the day, and he just trains with the monster during the night. Yeah, I'm serious. In Brazil, he's a construction worker. I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
So this guy, once he gets you down, he holds you down for the entire round. He beats you up. He throws these punches, and he gets you down continuously. He has a nice double leg, very nice single leg. He's very strong in the clinch against the cage. He's very strong, and he has good ground and pound. Good submission skills as well. Not bad in the stand-up department. Probably would look a little bit better if he can throw some nasty high kicks or something like that. Sharpen the Muay Thai a little bit, but he does. He's nasty, man. Take it from me. I like Alan Patrick a lot here, especially against Scott Hot Sauce Holtzman, who's like tries to play the same game with the grappling and whatnot, and he's gonna go and run into a grappler who's way stronger than him. Just a guy who's a complete black belt. I'm pretty sure Alan gets a black belt.
Yeah.
But he's just gonna run into Alan Patrick here, who's just gonna, I think, maul him on the floor and just get a 30-27 here and have the job done. So I have Alan Patrick in a 5-unit parlay with somebody later in the card.
Makes sense because I kind of agree that Alan Patrick, he goes for those takedowns really fast. Like round 1, second 1, you're getting taken down, and that's really difficult. Now, understandably, he's running into something. Could be a knee, could be something. But, I mean, Scott Holtzman just doesn't fight like that. He's got good hands. He does throw a jumping kick or two every now and then. But he likes to get people kind of moving backwards before he does that. He's a grind fest of a fighter. He started staying close and landing punches against Daryl Horcher, who actually started to land some punches of his own in the second in the end of the third, but could not continue against Scott's grind fest. But Alan Patrick has it just as a good one as well. I mean, he doesn't box for a long time, but he does land a few good punches, and he's quick at throwing what he likes. Obviously, training with Jacare, you're training with some different animals. So, I mean, this guy's takedown defense and takedowns are great. He can constantly put up threats against submissions. I really liked him getting out of constant submission trouble by Stevie Ray. In their fight, he gets put in an arm bar, and straight 45 seconds just had his arm pretty much stretched, and he got out of it. I really like that submission escape, and I think Alan Patrick can either get Scott Holtzman's back or get him to the floor and just wear him down. It's going to be difficult for Scott Holtzman to push his regular pace on him. I got Alan Patrick in this one, man.
Yeah. Next up is Aspen Ladd versus Tonya Evinger. I think Tonya Evinger just has that that veteran grit, man. She's a good wrestler. She knows what she's doing. Aspen Ladd, very good up and coming prospect. 24 years old or some shit. Like super young too. But she didn't have trouble this time. She's had trouble in the past making weight. Something I'm not sure how much she dehydrates herself or whatnot, but you got this is a hard matchup to pick just because both good wrestlers. I think Tonya Evinger might be a little bit even the better grappler here, but yeah, man, fuck, this is a hard one to choose. I think it's going to be a grapple-heavy contest. Sorry, guys, we're
going to see if we can get that back for you. All right, sweet. Yeah, so like 15 seconds.
I think she puts on the veteran performance and just like gets the job done here. Tonya Evinger, man. So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah. I definitely see why. I mean, she put up an amazing fight against Cyborg. Kudos to her. I mean, watching her pretty much a really cool grappling match against Irene Aldana as well. In that fight, she throws backwards elbow strikes, keeping Aldana from going for chokes from the back. And Aspen Ladd likes to take your back and throw either strikes or just constantly thread it. So you're turning and just tries to take you and really go for that ground and pound. They're almost very similar in the type of style. It's just that Tonya Evinger's been doing it for a way longer time. And I kind of agree. If she meets Aspen Ladd, she's kind of going to have a lot of stuff on her. Obviously, she's been knocked around a bit, and Aspen Ladd definitely hits hard when she wants to. But Tonya Evinger has some great escapes, knows the game, great timing, good cross, and a nice single leg that's pretty reliable. And she's really good at just controlling a lot of opponents before they can either get a good submission position on them or kind of knock her off balance. Whereas Aspen Ladd, I mean, she rains the shots down when she gets on the mount, especially against Vidal. She got bounced off the fence and then thrown. It is an early fight that she had. She got thrown, almost judo thrown, and Aspen Ladd came back and won that fight after taking her back, very similar to how she won most fights. So, I mean, she's real tough, but I just think Evinger has been tougher for longer and just has more tools in the chest with a great mind to use it. So, Tonya Evinger's got that.
One second here. Now, okay, well, next up is Vincente Luque versus Jalin Turner. Just trying to get who is Jalin Turner's Max Mustaki, I believe.
He's the dude from the
Contender Series.
Yeah.
But who did we get? Who did we fight? Max
Mustaki, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot how close that fight was. I gotta go check that real quick, actually, just because I just remember I just remember Max being a heavy favorite. I thought Max was a heavy favorite. No, Jalin was a heavy favorite. Minus 400. Yeah, but he didn't. He didn't get the finish, or did it? Because it was a doctor stoppage. It was
It
a
was a
weird.
doctor stoppage. He was
It was a weird. Yeah, it was.
battering.
Yeah, it was a weird finish though. This guy's good. He used to fight at 155 though.
Oh.
He used to fight at 155. I'm pretty sure. That's what Pettis asked him in the embedded if he can still make 155.
That's
and
right.
Said, yeah. So, but he's a good striker. He's very capable. He knows what he's doing. I wonder how high he is on the how high of a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu level he is on the ground. Like maybe if he's a purple belt or something. Vincente is minus 900 right now. Some places he's going to be minus 1,000. He's going to be. This is supposed to be a knock in the park for Vincente. For some fucking reason, I'm having this feeling that Jalin Turner is going to win this fight. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
But I have a weird feeling Jalin Turner is going to win this fight by outstriking Vincente. If Vincente can't finish Jalin Turner, I see Jalin Turner actually winning this striking battle here for some weird reason. He's longer, man. He's got the reach. He's got that size advantage. I think he's gonna be able to stop takedowns, and he's gonna be able to keep the distance between him and Vincente. So I got Jalin Turner.
Yeah, I gotta admit that his rhythm is something that I really like, and what he brings to the fight is really cool because, again, he was able to batter up Mizaki during that fight. I thought he pretty much won it. It was stopped due to injury, but regardless, it looked like it was a stoppage was gonna happen eventually because Turner was following him around. Single right kicks, right jabs. Stance switch, left hook combos. I mean, you name it, man. One fight that got him a little bit rough was against a guy named Andrew Lagden. And Lagden's a bit of a vet himself, starting off like any usual one of Turner's fights, but it found him on the ground really fast. And Lagden almost took a page out of Alan Patrick's book and just kept taking him down. So it was a very difficult fight for him. So, there are some problems, but at the same time, he has some good jiu-jitsu. He's been able to put some his opponents in some triangle trouble as well. And, again, he can get worn down. But I think Vincent Luque, using great boxing footwork, has some good right hands with a nice jumpy style. He doesn't start out with a slow pace, so I think this will be a good fight. Has a nice jab, left kick, right hand combo. Throws light in the beginning, but looks to be accurate with the jab and overhand. I like how he throws punches light. If anyone saw him against Chad Laprise, check that fight out. They look exactly the same in round one. Just like as they're boxing, they look like the same person. It's like a mirror match, man. I kind of found that funny, and he was able to take him out in round one. So that's what he can do to a boxer on his level. Anyone who's successful moving forward might have to slow the fight down a bit in order to use Luque's style against him. But at the same time, Luque is smart with it, and he can definitely flash up those punches and kicks when he wants to. He was able to beat up Bilal Muhammad in the first round, and he's a big grinder. So I got Vincent Luque in this, and I can see him winning this. But Jalin Turner definitely has that that athleticism where he can just blast out of anything and come back with a counter. So
but you got Luque.
I got Vincent Luque, yeah.
Okay. So last up for the prelim portion of the card here is Sergio Pettis on UCA Formiga, and I got 3 units on Pettis. I believe I got 3 units on Sergio Pettis at -141.
That's a good pick.
I just think he's going to be able to defend the takedowns.
Yeah.
He stopped like 11 out of 12 or something like that. He stopped a lot of takedowns against Joseph Benavidez. And he looked real good against Joseph Benavidez. Outstruck him. And, man, I think he's only getting better and better. His hands look very crisp. He's going to have the striking advantage by a long shot against UCA Formiga here. UCA doesn't have the best striking. Looks to strike and then jump into the clinch right away. Pettis is going to have some dangerous kicks and some dangerous hands, man. Watch out for Pettis. But, yeah, I got Sergio Pettis here. I think he does enough. I think his defense is enough here. His takedown defense and his ground game is going to be, if it goes to the ground, I think his ground game is good enough. But I think his takedown defense is good enough as well to stop the takedowns from UCA Formiga and keep us standing and winning 327 decision here. So I got 3 units on him at -141.
This is a bit of a half and half fight for me, only because Formiga is just weird, man. Because went up against John Dodson, his very first fight in the UFC, and got KO'd. That was when Dodson was getting early KOs regularly, and he wasn't like winning these 3-round fights. You know, he likes to parry punches off of his opponents, and he tends to sometimes stand a little bit too tall as he bounces. Good double leg takedown. That's what he goes for, and he looks for people to who kick and go for it. So I kind of almost had Pettis at a bit of a disadvantage when I first looked at the matchup. But Formiga definitely's big counter is boxing. Doesn't like boxers. Guys tend to piece him up a little bit. You know, boxing definitely looks like his kryptonite, because even in fights where he's doing well, a good boxer kind of keeps him on his back foot. If you watch the Cejudo fight, he looked real tough in that one, man. A lot of good counters in that fight, and he was able to clinch up with him and really get the knees and clinching in there. So I also thought that if he can get a hold of Sergio Pettis, he could implement that type of strategy. Likes to get his stuff on the middle of the ring. Doesn't really push people to corners unless they push him to it. Formiga likes to counter strike and kind of move backwards, but he can be a little stagnant and a little bit slow. Whereas Sergio Pettis, I mean, that works in his favor. If you sit there and let him work, the guy will just line up a kick to your head. And, you know, he fights fast, and he needs those fast hands to work for him. He has a really nice left hook, really nice right hand, and he switches stances. So that right hook can also be, that left hook can also become a right hook, and you can also use a left straight. So the guy's dangerous from all angles. He absolutely battered Moraga around with everything he had in the book. Both him and his brother have nice kicks when their back hits the ground. I really like that. You know, he got some very creative ways to get out of takedowns, which could run him into some trouble if he gives up the back. But I mean, he's really confident when he walks forward, and guys definitely see it, because when he starts throwing the middle kicks, when he starts throwing the jab down the middle, man, a lot of it's success, and he does it for quite a while in the rounds before he gets hit. So I mean, if he starts comboing you for about a minute, and then you hit him with maybe 2 or 3 shots and miss a takedown, you're losing, man. And Sergio Pettis is a good gas tank. So I kind of lean towards Pettis, but I don't know, man. I originally had Formiga in this one. So, yeah, I just think Pettis will beat him because of the boxing.
So you're going with Pettis here?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so next up we're in our main card now. We got Michelle Waterson take on Felice, Little Bulldog Herrig, the Quality Hottie versus the Little Bulldog. Versus the Little Bulldog. We'll start with Felice Herrig here. Felice, before losing to Carolina, was on a 4-fight win streak, I believe. She looked good in all those fights. Her grappling, her striking has improved like crazy, but her grappling is just one of a kind right now. She's really strong compared to a lot of these girls, and she fights like a bulldog, man. That's like her nickname. She's exactly like that, and she's gonna be able to bully her way in. Like she said, she's gonna be able to be the big sister in there against Michelle Waterson and just bully Michelle Waterson around. Michelle Waterson was a former atomweight, 105 pounder, moving up to 115 pounds. So she's the smaller girl by far, and Felice Herrig's gonna be a lot stronger than that. I believe Felice is gonna have the better boxing. She's gonna put the boxing on display, and then she's gonna take down. She'll take down Michelle Waterson there, and she'll do that for a few rounds, or she gets a submission. I think second round submission, rear naked choke. So I'm going with Felice Herrig here. I believe I got 3 units on her as well. 3 units. Felice Herrig minus 121. Let's go.
Michelle Waterson, I mean, and Felice Herrig, it's a great matchup. I like both fighters. If anything, I think Michelle Waterson has some really surprising karate. She could change her angle to kick real quickly. Likes to really throw 2 punches, bang a few kicks out, and then go back to a few kicks and then a few punches. I like how she runs that combo in reverse. So 2 punches, a few kicks, a few punches. Great little flash front kick that she uses. She has a lot of stuff that kind of keep people away, and that's what Michelle Waterson likes to do and set up a lot of her singles. She's got a great spinning back kick galore if she can set it up. But I actually think Felice's Muay Thai background will help her deal with a lot of those kicks, and she has some good boxing. It's been improving as she's been in the game. She shrugs off damage like it's nothing and thrives in a good slugfest. She's got a quick submission scramble, nice skip knees in the clinch when she's not looking for a leg sweep takedown. Really good at grabbing kicks to the body. That could definitely be a case for if Waterson goes for a lot of her body kicks that she tends to like. Felice Herrig has some dangerous groundwork, man, and she'll sneak up on you right on the back and put you in danger. Many times backpacking her opponents, going for a choke. I think she's good at mixing in what she can, and I think she's a little bit better. But, you can't shrug Michelle Waterson's ground game at all. She has won a few fights, but I think she's a smaller fighter in the ground, and I think if it does go to the ground, Felice kind of has it. I think Michelle needs to really look for that flash kick knockout or some big move to end the fight. So I got Felice Herrig.
Alrighty. Next up is Alexander Volkov taking on Derrick Lewis, and I got 3.52 units on Alexander Volkov at minus one. At minus 176. I don't like Derrick Lewis at all.
Oh, no.
He's cool. He's a cool guy. He's cool on social media and stuff like that, but he's a horrible fighter. He doesn't throw any, very inactive at times, only looking for his kill shot. Very slow. Can't breathe at times. His back's always hurting. Alexander Volkov might be the best heavyweight, one of the best heavyweights in the world right now. And he just knocked out Fabrice Verdum. Before that, Stefan Struve. Before that, he beat Roy Nelson. And before that, Timothy Johnson. And this guy was also the Bellator heavyweight world champion, man. He's no joke in Bellator.
Yeah.
He's 13-6. He's 13-6. He's young. He's like 28, 29 years old. I'm all day Volkov. I think he beats Derrick Lewis up with the striking. He's gonna be the longer ranger fighter, of course. He's 6'7" or 6'8". He's gonna he's going to be towering over Derrick Lewis, and I think he's going to be able to keep enough range to hit Derrick Lewis and not get hit by Derrick Lewis and win a decision or knock Derrick Lewis out late when he's gassed. So I got my boy Alexander Volkov here, 3.52 units, minus 176. Let's go.
Yeah, I think Alexander Volkov, he's got a great jab and huge distance. I mean, just can measure that out and know exactly what to do. He makes his calculations nice, and he bombed Verdum in their fight. It was over in the fourth when he tagged him with a jab, sneaking in an uppercut, followed up with a quick little bit of a ground pound. Didn't even have to. Already over. He can be a handful when he starts to really spark up a lot of punches and kicks. He likes to rally stuff together, but I think that's where he actually does tend to be in the same spot for a little long. And I like how you talked about the Timothy Johnson's fight, because that was a new one for me. I really liked that one because this guy came back from adversity, getting hit by a big shot because Timothy Johnson jumped into that punch and then landed an uppercut after that. And once he hit the ground, he had to fight off a ground and pounding Timothy Johnson, who smelt blood at the time. Amazing heart and getting up and showing no signs of damage. And he got a split decision, man. I think he deserved it. But man, I got to say, Timothy Johnson very similar in a way to Derrick Lewis, just because of the size.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a fan favorite for Derrick Lewis. I mean, you win me over if you have a fight like Marcin Tybura. I like how he bounces people off of his punches into another punch, almost like King Hippo from Punch Out. I love it. I've already said that before. As slow as the stamina is, and yeah, I think no one likes to see another Ngannou fight, which I don't think this will be. But obviously, you have two people who know that. I mean, we can crack, and we're going to try to stay away from each other. And to be honest, I think the Derrick Lewis who throws light punches, it doesn't look too bad if it's going to win him a fight. But I just don't think it's going to be that stagnant. Everyone likes to talk about how he walks and how he is tired. But I mean, when that guy's walking up to you, he looks like Jason from Friday the 13th, and he throws these left and right hooks. Good at looking like he's dead in the water. I like actually when he gets to the ground, because when he gets to the ground, he almost has a permanent side control because he's so big, uses his stomach and just blocks your legs from even trying to get around. He can really keep people in one spot. And I mean, if this guy gets somebody in the corner or gets and is able to put his weight on him, Matt, it's going to be tough for Alexander Volkov to get up, especially if the rounds have been going for a while. Yeah, I mean, he has most of the fight, I think maybe in the first 3 rounds. But Derrick Lewis, man, he's creepy. He's super creepy. He can you could see lightning in a bottle here. So I got Derrick Lewis. King Hippo himself.
Yeah, King Hippo, eh?
Yep.
All right. King Hippo. Okay, so next up is Ovince St. Preux taking on Dominick Reyes, the Devastator. And man, Reyes is, if you watch his first fight, that right hand he lands is a fucking shotgun.
Oh.
That shit's a shotgun. He'll knock out anybody with that. Oh my goodness. He is no joke. But going on, this guy has very nice kicks. He's good on the ground too. If you watch his second fight, I believe, when he gets the who did he fight in the second fight?
Jared Cannonier or Jimmy Kimball?
Jeremy Kimball.
Oh yeah. Jeremy
when he chokes him out.
Yeah. That was a nice choke too.
Yeah. You can see he's good on the ground, man. He's very good. Comes from Cobra Kai, which is Joe Stevenson's gym. So he is trained by one of the DT masters, and he's going to be training submissions a lot for his own St. Preux fight. I think he's better on the feet than Ovince. Ovince lacks a lot of IQ. Ovince lacks a lot of IQ. And once Ovince gets tired, it's fucking Dominick Reyes all day.
Did you watch the Jared Cannonier fight, actually?
Yeah, of course.
Do you think that Jared Cannonier almost stands exactly like OSP with the shaky?
Very similar.
That could be a repeat, man. So
very similar. And Dominick Cruz has that one-punch knockout power, man. He can get it done in one. I have a feeling this one's gonna go to the second round, though. I got Dominick Reyes all day, and I got him 3.25 units. Dominick Reyes minus 212. So I got Dominick Reyes here.
I mean, Vincente Preux, obviously owner of the now called Von Preux choke. Would not be surprised if he gets it, man. I mean, he can switch stances. He throws either kicks or punch counters. The only problem is, I mean, Vincente Preux actually has a lot of stamina issues because of this. I think when he switches stances, him being so big, it's very taxing. And you can even see it in the John Jones fight. You know, going into the history books, it lost his first 2 fights in MMA. You know, and he fought Gegard Mousasi. You know, most recently Tyson Pedro, which I didn't find was a bad fight at all. Very fast with his counters, but I mean, he looked out in that fight too. He was getting clipped, man. He can. I don't know if he can handle those big hits in this next fight, because I don't know how Tyson Pedro would do against Dominick Reyes. But I mean, Dominick Reyes. Yeah. I mean, amazing first round though for OSP. He has like you know, like a fire, and I mean, once you throw too many punches, you've almost thrown you've almost thrown oil onto the fire, and you kind of ignited them. But once that oil goes away, you gotta jump on this guy, because you know, if he wrestles you and starts to beat you up, it's gonna be bad. Dominick Reyes, I like how he goes for guillotines. You know, super fast, good southpaw style, low front hand. I like how he lets his kicks go as well. He really uses the kicks nice. I thought Jared Cannonier actually got him in similar situations, but I mean, hey, this guy knocked out Gokhan Saki, so we can't even, you know, move Cannonier out of the way, because he just got to win, right? You know, kicks right away, right after you kick. And I mean, if you're gonna kick with him, he's probably gonna beat you. He's a king of first round finishes, and he could get another one tonight, or sorry, on Saturday. Can actually be really troublesome when he's being pushed around. Jeremy Kimball got him up against the fence and just couldn't keep him there. And then when he upped the pace, it was real difficult for him to keep close and keep him, you know, from throwing those big bombs. At 6'4", this guy ranged some big shots down from the back of Kimball and then rolled him back over to choke him. Again, very impressive. The fact that he was able to do it to someone so heavy as well. Yeah, I like Dominick Reyes in the fight. It's close. I think, yeah, I think Dominick Reyes my edge just went out just by a little bit, but I do want to see OSP win this. I'll be cheering on the inside.
You got Dom Reyes.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is the co-main event. My fucking boy Tonya Ferguson. Taking on Anthony Showtime Pettis. What a fight. That's a good fight, eh?
Jiu-jitsu matchup, man.
No, it's way more than that. The striking in that match is fucking incredible. Elbows and knees versus
the cha-cha.
Yeah, the salsa dancing. Oh, right. Okay, so El Kukui. Obviously 10 in a row. I just think he's several levels above Anthony Pettis here. I think his striking is several several levels above Anthony Pettis. I think only Anthony Pettis has like maybe the flashier kicks and the flashier movements and whatnot. But I think not even the flashier movement, but the flashier kicks. And then Tony's got the harder hands. He's got the better hands. Good boxer, nasty Muay Thai, nasty knees, nasty kicks, nasty everything. And then you go to the ground. This guy's a black belt in 10th round jiu-jitsu, and even regular jiu-jitsu as well. I'm pretty sure. And like fucking, he's just ridiculous on the floor. Like his ground game is ridiculous. His guard game. Oh fuck! I'm tired. Is one of the best in the division, if not the UFC. And I think he's gonna be able to choose wherever this fight goes. He's the better wrestler, so he's gonna be able to choose if this is standing or going to the ground. And he's better on the ground. He's better standing up. So I think that minus 350 is fucking. That's a good play. Tomorrow, when this guy's gonna be. Tomorrow he's going to be under 300, and that's your time to grab him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tomorrow's going to be under 300, I guarantee you. Or I don't guarantee you, because maybe people pounce on them after the win. But I think he'll be under 300, and like very good play. Tony Ferguson all day. So I got 5 units on Tony Ferguson and Alan Patrick at minus 125. Let's go.
You know, one thing I immediately always like about Ferguson is the first round of every one of his fights. Just it's for the casual viewer of UFC or for people just kind of going to watch a fight just at a Boston Pizza. Ferguson puts on a show because this guy dances while fighting, throws great combos, lands repeat leg kicks on Lando Venata. One of the most encouraged fights to watch, I would say, against Tony. Tony's tall and uses reach with a lot of power, but at times he doesn't need the reach. He can almost get in, get out, and throw what he wants. He doesn't need to throw a lot of hooks or anything like that. He can kind of stick to straight punches, but he just does it because he wants to. He is almost better when he's wobbling. It's weird. This guy gets hit, wobbles, and all of a sudden regains consciousness and starts throwing bombs. And you can see where all the balance exercises that he does outside of the UFC, when you watch him in embedded or when you watch him in training camps where the guy's on top of a yoga ball, or when he's if he's like on top of like a surfboard or something. This guy's very coordinated and uses that to his advantage in the UFC. He's got great groundwork. And Kevin Lee was a very tough fight for him, but I mean, Kevin Lee had a lot of weight as well. He was a very big fighter and fights very similarly to Khabib. Actually, I would love to see Ferguson Khabib fight. I think he wants that fight after this. He wants to fight the winner. So, Tony Ferguson is coming for that W. Anthony Pettis, he's coming off of a great fight. I like the Michael Chiesa fight. And, I actually had Michael Chiesa going into that because I just thought he'd be able to take his back and also beat him on the stand-up. Sure enough, Michael Chiesa actually had a rough time, and when Anthony Pettis missed a kick and Chiesa wrongly wagged his finger in his face, I was actually pretty impressed that Anthony Pettis was able to rally up, throw some punches, get him on the floor, and end the fight with an arm bar, a triangle arm bar or something, right?
Yeah.
And it looks very similar to the one he put on Benson Henderson in their fight. I mean, Anthony Pettis, a lot of people see the fade. A lot of people see him kind of, he's not what he used to be. But I don't think he's trying to be. He's adding a lot of things to his repertoire as well as seeing what else that he can use. And I don't think he's bad at all. And win or lose after this fight, I think he still is going to be a huge, a very big opponent for anybody. I still got Tony Ferguson in this fight. But Anthony Pettis has some great kicks on him. I mean, if we see the Showtime kick and maybe put Ferguson, we might even see a great brawl on our hands. So, I got Ferguson all the way, though. It still could be a good fight. I saw at the weigh-ins that they're exactly the same size, so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, they're very similar. Tony's thicker.
I thought Ferguson would be way taller, actually.
No, I knew they were around the same height, but Tony's definitely the bigger fighter. If he's definitely shooting up to close to 200 pounds.
For sure.
Definitely the bigger fighter. Fucking yeah, let's go main event time, dude.
The main, bro. The main.
Okay, so Khabib Nurmagomedov first. Who's this guy? Conor McGregor. Yeah, Conor McGregor making his return at UFC 229.
Conor McGregor.
Going against the undefeated fucking monster in Khabib Nurmagomedov. And this is my biggest bet I've ever made in my entire life. So I'm a little sweaty. Like, this is the biggest bet I've ever made in my entire life. Are you guys ready? Drum roll, please. My bet is Khabib Nurmagomedov, 12 units, minus 150. Let's get it.
What's so special about Khabib, Seb?
What's so special about Khabib? Khabib is one of a kind sambo wrestler, and let me break down what sambo is first of all. Sambo is actually the best base you can get, in my opinion, for MMA. In my opinion, just because it's striking with wrestling. That's exactly what the fuck you need in the UFC. If you can wrestle and strike, you're on your way to thing. So it's pretty much ground and pound striking. It's just like fucking shows you exactly how to strike. Sambo. And then what else is special about Khabib is he brings this relentless presence to the game that it's just like if you watch that, first of all, if you watch that Michael Johnson fight, you see he takes a fucking, that's a smack. When Connor's saying he's gonna get a smack, Conor hits harder than Michael Johnson, 100%. That's 100%. But fucking don't say Khabib has a glass jaw, because Michael Johnson hits very hard. He knocked out Dustin Poirier.
Right before that.
Knocked out Dustin Poirier. And they don't say Dustin Poirier has a glass jaw, you know? He knocked out Dustin Poirier, boom, fights Khabib, lands pretty much a nasty 1-2 combo and lands that overhand left. And then stumbles Khabib, but Khabib doesn't drop. Khabib gets on top of him, takes him down, gets on top of him, and just fucking makes Michael Johnson his bitch. Just absolutely tears him apart, grabs him, just sits on top of him and just talks to him the whole fight, telling him he should quit. He's getting smacks across the head. He's getting punches every 2 seconds. He's getting a punch every second. He's getting his wrist held so he can't even get up. His knees are tucked in with Khabib's legs. They're swamped in. And the same thing's happening to Edson Barboza. The same thing happened to Rafael Dos Anjos. The same thing happened to name any of the guys he's faced except Gleison Tibau. I'll give you that. I always say Gleison Tibau. Yeah. I always say Gleison Tibau won that fight. I always said that. Gleison Tibau won that fight. But Khabib is just, he's gonna bring such. First of all, since that Gleison Tibau fight, he brought like fucking. Obviously, he's a completely different fighter now. But
he fought a veteran at the time.
Yeah, at the time, one of his, I think, if not his first fight in the UFC, one of his first fights.
Definitely on stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Gleison. Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
They didn't have any rules.
Oh yeah, that's when Tibau was on everything, and fucking. Conor, we seen him have trouble with wrestlers before, and Chad Mendes. Chad Mendes has given him trouble before. He held him down for a round. Don't ever tell me Conor has the capability of getting back up to his feet rather quickly. Because even when Nate Diaz took him down, or didn't take him down, but was on top of him. He could mounted his ass real quick. He did nothing. He couldn't get up. He was ready to give us back. So that's something he has to be worried about with Khabib. Khabib has to worry about that the first 2 rounds, maybe. Has to get him down rather quickly, shoot for that takedown rather quickly, get him down. And when he's down, I think he finishes him by the 3rd round. I think he finishes McGregor with TKO shots. I think McGregor gives up, and that's it, man. I think he just gives up. Not verbally submitted or anything like that, but I think the ref sees that it's enough and just pulls Khabib off of Conor. I had a dream, actually. It was 5 rounds.
Whoa.
Yeah, I went for all 5 rounds, and Khabib told him at the end of the fight, "Is that what you want? I told you that's what was going to happen."
That's a pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good window into the future there.
Yeah, and I had a dream of that, and he beat the shit out of him in my dream. He beat the shit out of Conor in my dream, bro. So I'm fucking. Let's get it going. But yeah, I got 12 units on Khabib, minus 150. Let's fucking go. My biggest play I've ever made in my life. I don't ever tell people, well, don't even, if you guys want to tell me on this, but whatever, man. Fucking, let's rock and roll.
The Conor fans are coming for you, man.
Let them come.
I'm still a big Conor McGregor fan. I always have been. I mean, I can definitely see a lot of what he uses land.
I'm still a Conor fan too. Don't get me wrong.
For sure.
I have a Conor McGregor fight kit.
Yeah.
I have a Conor McGregor fight kit. I'm a huge McGregor fan. This is just a horrible matchup for him, in my opinion.
Yeah. Again, it's kryptonite to him, man. I think Khabib is that style that puts him in a lot of trouble. Trying not to go over a lot of the people who Seb kind of talked about, but I mean, Joe Duffy was able to get Conor to the ground and show him it wasn't a good time. Especially that was early in his career too. It felt a lot of decline there, and that's actually where a lot of people who were big fans of Conor were all of a sudden like, oh, well, maybe a few people can beat him in the UFC, because when you're killing it on these kind of local scenes, it's very easy to pick up these crazy string of wins here. Obviously, fighting Max Holloway, that was a great fight, actually. And before Max Holloway went on this legendary win streak, that was actually his only loss before that. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy. Connor's got some great flash stuff. Flash kicks. I mean, so quick.
Connor's awesome, man. Don't get me wrong. Connor's awesome at what he does. Standing up, Conor is ridiculous. He has the presence. He has the timing. He has everything going in his favor standing up.
Really good flexibility.
But how long is he going to stand up for? How long is it going to take for Khabib to shoot a takedown and catch this guy and clinch him and then bring him to the floor? And then, what are we talking about after that? What are we talking about for the 5 minutes of the round when he's on the floor and he's getting mauled?
Well, when you brought up that Gleison Tibau fight to me when we first started doing this, and I look back at that, I actually saw where Khabib kind of went wrong. And, I don't see a lot of that stuff in Conor. Conor's not that big. Gleison Tibau was absolutely enormous for that fight. Yeah. And, he just wasn't fighting him the same way.
Tibau has way better takedown defense than Conor.
He does. Conor has to kind of, how do I say it, exaggerate a lot. He's got to kind of get creative with getting out of a lot of spots. And you can only do that so often until someone who's savage enough, who's really good at wrestling, is just going to narrow down what he's going to do. And Khabib wraps that leg, gets almost caterpillars it, gets you close, and just starts to throw the punches. And this guy doesn't stop throwing punches. They're about mid to high, mid to hard shots. And these do not stop. Kevin Lee even said, you know what, I learned from Khabib, and I started doing that in my fight against Barboza because he seemed to have the best strategy. I would actually do that for all my fights. Well, he really did take a bit of Khabib out of that. And I like when fighters kind of highlight a lot of things that, that current fighters are doing that they're looking at. It's really cool. If anything, I'd like to see a fight with Khabib and Kevin Lee. I think Khabib's got good clinching. It's got good boxing. And I mean, it might not be as fast as as a lot of the people who have landed against Conor, but his boxing is very dependable. He throws good combos. The guy comes from AKA, and you know, he's no joke, man. He puts people on the floor, and they're different. You know what I mean? They're not as savage as they used to be. They're not getting up. I mean, these guys are really held down by a big weight, and Khabib's punches are a big part of that. Slapping your hand away when you go to support, and just being a big nuisance. Michael Johnson lit him up with a kitchen sink and couldn't put him away. And yeah, I agree. He might not hit as hard as Conor, but he hit him with a lot of punches, and a lot more punches than most people get on Khabib. If you light Khabib up with a combo, chances are you're not going to get that combo again. He's just going to be on you, throwing punches, trying to go for takedowns, and nonstop. Daniel Cormier did a great analysis on him. You know, comes from his gym, so he would know the best. And yeah, I think I'm a big Conor fan. I'd like to see the kicks, but I think that's actually a bad strategy. Once you're on that one leg, Khabib's going to dump you, and that's it. Obviously, he has that first 2 rounds. That's what you're betting on if you're placing a bet. But I think Khabib has the whole fight, as well as a lot of skills that Conor just hasn't really been able to trump. Dylan Danis said that I'm not sure if you heard the interview where Dylan Danis is like, I'm as big as Khabib, and
I'm a better version.
I don't know about that one, bro.
He said I'm a better version.
Ooh, that's a little weird, man. I mean, I like Dylan Danis a lot, actually. I think he's a good jiu-jitsu guy, but in his last Bellator fight, he didn't seem to, like, you know, show anything crazy, especially if you're going to say you're better than Khabib.
Yeah.
In takedowns. Maybe, but I mean, come on. You're not. What are you going to mimic the boxing? You mimic that ground pound too?
He says he's Khabib with, like, more submissions.
Whatever. Okay. I think Khabib's Kimura works for him just fine. But yeah, I see Khabib winning this fight. Whether it's a decision or whether it's earlier on.
If it's decision, Conor's gonna look like fucking shit at that 5th round. At the end of the fight, Conor's gonna look mauled, like how Edson Barboza looked.
Check the stats on a tie.
No,
there
won't be a draw.
Now, there won't be a draw, but I gotta give it to anybody who bet on ties, especially if it's boxing or if it's any sort of big fight, because they want it too. So hey, Triple G and Canelo would have been a big tie to bet on.
Yes, that would have been. Boxing, it's more common.
That's true.
MMA, it's more of like a scoring thing. Especially in a 5-rounder, it's not like usually you'll see a tie.
Normally you get the splits.
Yeah. But Khabib, they told me that's Khabib with the medal minus 150. Let's go. Okay. So there you go, your wrap up for UFC 229. Your bets, breakdowns, and picks from the Sebs show. I will be dropping the timestamps after this. So you can just skip to wherever you want to go. And yeah, let's get this fucking party started, guys. UFC 229, the biggest fight in MMA history. Let's go. Let's go. Khabib time. El Kukui. Felice, Herrig, Dominick, Reyes. Who else do I have? Alexander Volkov, Sergio, Pettis, Alan Patrick, everyone. Let's get it.
All right, guys. Let's get it. Have a good weekend.